Oh, there we go. That took long enough. Anyways, guys, welcome to a stream. Now this stream is gonna be a bit different. Today I'm gonna be showcasing something that I've actually been working on for quite some time now. It is the Kevin Spencer house in Half-Life. Now, let me remind you guys that before you guys watch this, this is incomplete. This is it's almost there, but it's not complete, unfortunately. Um, but it should be done within this week. Um, where is Jack? It should be done within this week, I believe. All I think I need to do is just add some trees and stuff, and then for what's it called? Um, crap. I already added the decals, the lighting. There was something. Oh yeah, because I'm gonna make a deathmatch variant so people could actually play this in deathmatch. So I'm gonna do that. But let me just show you guys what I've gotten done so far. Okay, so here we are in Jack. Here we got Freeman. Now, here we have this. Okay, I don't know what that is. That is weird. I don't know what that is, but anyway, so here we have a door. And then we also, I think I actually hid decals, but we have decals. So here's actually what the complete house would look like. Um, so right now it's in the skybox, we have the lighting and then we also have the decals. I'm gonna play with decals on. The only reason why I didn't have them on was to just showcase the house layout, but I'll actually do that. I'll actually, I'll turn off decals for now, and we'll just start with the house layout. So here we have the basement. The basement is actually in. Let's check our screenshots. So here's our screenshots. So in fact, let me resize that a bit. I know they were taken from my phone, so they kind of look a little dookie. Let me find the basement. Okay, so here's the basement. So the basement was showed off in the prank episode. This episode actually right here. Um, so I actually haven't decorated it, as you can see. It's pretty bland. I probably will be adding some more decorations, but right now it's just you know, just a general layout. Um, so that's the basement. Uh, let's go all the way back. Let's go to the house layout. So this is like the actual house, like how it is. So let me showcase everything again. So this is the front of the house. Now, if you're wondering why this pink stuff is right here, that's actually just triggers, so the door will open. So, yeah, as you can see that the house is a little wider. I did have to do that just because of how that house is laid out. I even got the tires right here. The only reason why I haven't added the dead trees is because it's a lot of geometry and I just wanted to wait until the end so I could do it. But here are the little tires. All right, so next image, let's move on. Okay, so next image is actually the living room. So we get this shot of the living room. So I actually go over here and let me take everything off. Let's just go on the first floor. So here's the first floor, and then we get this shot of Percy with the couch. So in fact, let me add the decals. So here's with the decals. Here's without. So a lot of things just look a lot more cleaner without it, but you know, obviously that's not how it looks. Is that overlapping decals? I might have to change that. But so here we have this shot. We'll go ahead and compare that to show. So you can see we got the lamp. I couldn't get a texture that represented the couch. I wanted to get a couch texture, and you know, I'm just using Half-Life base Half-Life textures, so this is the only one that they have. And here we have the table. Um, the wall doesn't actually look too bad in this shot, but it actually, I'm pretty sure it gets worse later on. So then we have this shot of Anastasia. So this would actually be like right here. So as you can see, we got the television, we got the chairs, we got the window. Okay. So this is the kitchen now. Just gonna move on to the kitchen. So this is the phone that Percy's using. And let's go back to the shot. All right. And then you could also see the living room right here. This is this is just the same scene, but just zoomed out. Okay, now we're gonna go outside to the backyard. So this is actually over here. So here's how we did this one. Let me actually activate the second floor and basement so it doesn't look as bad. I'll also show this in the Gold Source engine so you guys could see like it actually play out. But here we are. Actually, let me adjust my view ever so slightly. Again, that pink stuff is on the door, so you guys, so it can open, but it doesn't actually look like that in game. I'll showcase that in a bit. But here we have this. Okay, next one. Okay, so this is a shot of the actual kitchen. So let's go back to the kitchen. So it's just the kitchen table. I haven't added any curtains, and I honestly, I'm probably not going to add any curtains since it's just more geometry that I'd have to add. So, but we'll see. We'll see. So here we are. Now the chairs are actually aligned to where there's two chairs right here. But this table changes like a lot. So here's this scene. So this is actually the living room, or I'm sorry, not the living room, the entryway. So this would actually be like right here, excluding Gordon. This would actually be right here. So let's go ahead and go back. Here we are. Ah, so here is the attic. The attic was, I gotta say, it was a bit difficult considering that this is the Gold Source engine. But here's how I did this. So I couldn't get a ladder to just kind of fall down. I'm sure there's probably someone out there who could probably do it, but I'm not that person. So here's what we did, or here's what I did. This is a function breakable. So you actually go to the basement down here, which I already showcased, and then there's this crowbar. You grab the crowbar and then you, excuse me, you break this. Once you break that, there's going to be a actually, I shouldn't showcase that yet. There's a box that you have to move. And then you move it right here, and then you jump up. So this is the attic. So, now, just keep in mind that this is different than, you know, I had to make changes just for the sake of it not making any sense if I didn't. For example, this window, that tiny little window right there, that would have made zero sense if I would have just kept it like that. A lot of this has a lot of the Simpsons kind of effect, how when they were making the Simpsons game and they had to map out the house, and sometimes, especially with the basement, how it's like all over the place. A lot of these houses, they're not like, you know, they're not linear. Here's another shot of the kitchen. So let's go over to the kitchen again. Here's the kitchen. Here's Anastasia. Anastasia would be standing right there. If I could go back to my images, yeah, right there. There is a this is the same prankster one. So that would literally be right here, or right here. I'm sorry, right here. This shot would be taken. Now the table isn't in the same area. That's just because it wouldn't make any sense. It wouldn't. It's just a lot of things don't make sense. Okay, so this is actually upstairs. This is I I I'm pretty sure this is Kevin's room. Um, I'm pretty sure that's where they set it up because Percy walks to the room. I have another shot. This is upstairs, by the way. I have another shot that actually shows them walking. Evidently, it's not here. But it's I believe we'll figure this out later. I'll show you guys later. Okay, so this is the kitchen again. Now, so I kind of I modified the kitchen a bit. I'll tell you how. So in some shots, the refrigerator is right here, but in other shots, the refrigerator is right here, and there's other cabinets. Like I said, doesn't make any fucking sense, but we're just gonna roll with it. So again, there's the refrigerator. Okay, so this one I do know is Percy and Anastasia's room. There's not too much that we can get from Percy and Anastasia's room except for its relative location, which is over here. Um, I was able to pinpoint that their little room is actually let me turn off the first floor. I think we could just turn it, or actually no, let me turn off the roof. So I'm pretty sure this is their room right here. And I'm pretty sure this is the wall where the bed is, where we see this shot. Because I believe this is where the window is. This is where, in that same prankster episode, is where Percy drops the cabinet onto Anastasia down here. So and I haven't added the cabinet mainly because I'm considering I'm not entirely sure if I'm gonna keep the cabinet up here or if we'll just put it on the floor. We'll see. Let me guys I'll let you guys let me know and I'll see what I could do. Okay, so here's the kitchen again. Now, here's another discrepancy with the show. So in most shots, this wall is orange. But for some reason, in some of the shots, this wall is green. I don't know why. Again, it's just cartoon logic. I just, as a mapper, it kind of, throws a wrench in the works because then you have to like think, okay, relatively, what can we assume the wall color is? And I assume that it is actually orange. Here's Anastasia walking up the stairs. That's the basement. We just went over that. Now here's the restroom. The restroom, we only get a couple of shots in. From when I was watching, I think I've only seen the restroom once. So here's the restroom from what I've mapped it out to be. So this is where Kevin would actually be standing right here. Then we have the mirror. Then we have the sink. Now, since there isn't any other shot of the restroom, I don't know what's in it, but I'd assume that this is the only restroom inside the house. So, I added a toilet. I added toilet paper. And I added the shower. So we got the little faucet, and then we got the, oh, I'm sorry, we got the knobs, and then we got the faucet, and then we got this little curtain. So yeah, this is what we got. Let's see what else is on the list. Okay, so here's something really weird. So this room that you're seeing right now, this room doesn't exist. So here's what I originally thought about this room. So when I first originally started working on this map, I had only gotten to a certain point in the game. Or I'm sorry, not, excuse me. I meant I had only gotten to a certain part of the show. Um when I saw that room, I thought it was a guest room. So I'll show you guys here. Let me remove the second floor. So originally I actually had a entirely, you could actually see the the this was actually supposed to be the closet, but I had to scrap that entirely because it turns out this room, I'm pretty sure that the name of the episode is literally just called The Room. Um, it turns out to be a room that none of them have actually touched. And that's why this room is actually the nicest of all the rooms, because they haven't been in it. They didn't realize there was even a room here. But originally, when I was making this, I assumed that this green room was this room. But it turns out this room doesn't exist. I have no idea where this room is. It's just I don't know. I tried to map it out. I really did try my best. Also, here is, as you can see, the wall is orange. Here's the ground. Okay, so here's why I say that this refrigerator changes positions all the time. So, in this shot, we have Kevin breaking the toaster. Now, we could assume that this shot is taken like this. I'm sorry, not the toaster, the microwave. We could assume that this shot is being taken like this, right? Well, see, that wouldn't really make any sense because, as we saw in other shots, the refrigerator is right here. But when Percy walks out of this, when he walks in and then he sees the mafia and stuff, the fridge is technically on this one, but it's where he walks in from. It's so confusing. Also, this window, the way how it's positioned, and you're probably like, oh, well then there's most likely, if why'd you make this? Because if the fridge, it could still be right here, and you could still capture the table just at a different angle. But why didn't you just put the fridge here? Because there could just be a window here. There isn't a window here. That's the thing. There's no window here. The window is showing the gate or this fence right here. Again, it's really hard to map this house out when it doesn't make any sense. So here we got just a little showcase of the house, and here we go again with this the orange walls or the yellow walls. Going up the stairs. Okay, so this was actually the best shot that I could get of this area. So let me make everything visible again, except for the sky. So this shot would be taken like this. Now, again, with these stairs, the color changes, so I just decided to just go with wood. Um, but yeah, this is actually the entrance to the secret room. And again, this wouldn't make any sense. There's no entrance to the basement either. So I just decided that the best place to put it, since you can't add a door right here, would be right here, since you never really see this area either way. And right here, since this is still the area when Percy sees through the window and he's like, I've never been to that room before. So, let's move on. Oh, FNAF jump scare. Is that all the screenshots I had? I guess that was all the screenshots I had. Um, Now I know that there is another screenshot of Kevin's room. Now we could assume that Kevin still does have that computer. This is his computer right here. Here's his bed, and then his room is actually also blue. Originally, I had thought it was just pitch black because in one of the shots it was pitch black. Even when Anastasia turned on the light, it was still black. I don't know. Kevin has a really weird room, but what we do know is that Kevin does have a room that is right here at this window. Um and we know this because of one of the really early, like I think it was the pilot episode, the Etch a Sketch. It shows Kevin's room being right here. And I could have swore I had more screenshots, but it also showcased this other hallway area. I guess I don't have the screenshot. Yeah, I really don't. That is interesting. But there is a hallway area, and then there's this area. And then up here, we know that this area they walk into, and this is their room. And then Kevin's room is actually a little bit more over here. Again, I can't find the screenshots, but if you do watch the series, you might be able to spot it at um. So let's go ahead and just take a little top-down view. So here it is, top-down. Oh yeah, and so I added my little I added my name right here. And I also added my name right here, but this one is a little bit different. This one basically just says that this map is protected by copyright law, and claiming ownership of this map is illegal. I worked really hard on this map. Please don't claim it as your own. This modification to this map is acceptable if I am credited still. So as long as these little things are still here, and my name is still in the description with the original link, it's okay to modify this map however you want. And then for some of the prefabs, I did go to Rimpository. So if we go over here, I'll actually open up the map so you guys can see. And here's the credits for them. So Sassy Roz, lots of people, Vomit, Stalgum. So basically, a lot of these people right here. If you want the full credits, just search up the Rimpository on TWHL and you will find it. So a lot of the yes, prefabs I had used, like this television right here, and a lot of them I had modified. Um, so they fit better. But here, let's take a top down. It's the top down of the house. This is the second floor that we're looking at. This is the first floor. And actually, let me remove the decals so it doesn't get in the way. As you can see, a lot of rooms just didn't make any sense. So I had to improvise. And then here is the basement. And yeah. So let's go ahead and run it. Let me add everything back. Oh yeah, and then this is the attic. Total, we got the house. So let's go. I actually haven't compiled it on this computer, so we're gonna be checking it out as I compile it. And then I'll also adjust my my FOV. What is going on? Jack is not responding. Jack, what are you doing? Oh, there we go. So Jack is just compiling the map and the lighting. That should be it. Okay, there we go. So let me adjust the FOV for you guys so you guys aren't like... There we go. Oh my goodness, I forgot about the door behind me. So here's the door. It's door. Here's that shot I was talking to you about. Here's the television. Percy would be sitting like right here. Here we have the kitchen. Here's that door I was talking about. Here's the basement. Where you would get the crowbar. This is the secret room. And then, so I actually added a little thing from the pilot. So I didn't mention this while I was in the map editor, but if we go up here, in the original pilot for the show, the Etch-a-Sketch pilot, Kevin runs down the stairs and falls bad. So I made it to where... Oh my goodness. Of course I don't do it. I did that on purpose. Here's their room with the clock. I couldn't find a really cool fire texture in Half-Life, so we're just kind of stuck with that. Here's their drawers. It's the outside. Here's the sink. And the toilet. And then this is the shower. This took me forever, by the way. And we're gonna go over to Kevin's room. This is Kevin's room. Now the fun thing about this free prefab is that it actually had a little CD tray, so that's really cool. Little chair. It's the bed. And then here's what I was talking about earlier about the box. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and move. In the deathmatch version, I'm probably just gonna get rid of this box. And I'll figure out something else I could use. So this is how you get in. Then here's the attic. It's very nice and cozy. And we'll just go into the backyard again, just to check out the house again. I'm thinking about adding some stuff if I can in this area. Here's their sidewalk. And then here's the tires right here. So this is how the player would see the house. And yeah, that's about it. Again, I added 2 versions of that thing. This one doesn't actually show up right here. But if we go over here, this one actually does. And this is actually an area that you could go into. I mean, you couldn't go in here really. You'd have to no clip, but yeah, so those are my initials, and go ahead and no clip ourselves out of here. And that's about it. I believe that was it. I don't think there's really anything else to showcase. Again, I probably will be adding those trees. But I think it came out really good. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna add those trees, and I'm gonna make a Half-Life Deathmatch version. And I'll finally be done with this project. It's been really fun. So thank you guys for tuning in. Just check in, and I'll edit the description of this video with the link to ModDB. I'm gonna be posting this with most likely within this week, if not today. I'll probably post it today. So keep an eye out for that. And again, I'm sorry for this being kind of a long video, but thank you guys again, and I'll see you guys next time.